While everyone's arguing about mortgage interest rate, the blueprint for the San Antonio housing market just got rewritten by Washington. You've seen the headlines. The new administration wants to open federal land. Big builders like Lennar and and Taylor Morrison are pitching millions of new homes. They call it a supply solution. It is not for you. Here's the housing math no one wants to explain. If these Trump homes get built, do you think they're going to be selling them to you, or are they going to be built for the largest built-to-rent portfolio in human history? San Antonio real estate market shift. In 2026, the game is not just about interest rates, it's about fundamental shift where Wall Street and mega builders replace the American homeowner. That's just great. If you're waiting for the crash to buy in San Antonio, you're playing right into their hands. It's a trap. Spoiler alert. Let's look at the data so you can understand. Here is the San Antonio real estate analysis for 2026. If you're near here, we do housing math, not just headlines. Subscribe. Right now, the national media is selling you a housing recovery story. They claim the Trump administration plan to release federal land to builders will flood the market with cheap inventory and save the American and San Antonio real estate market. That works in a chalkboard or a college chalkboard, but not here in Helotes, Cibolo, New Braunfels, and San Antonio, where we see a very, very different reality. Today, we're going to be breaking down exactly what Lennar, and Taylor Morrison proposals means to your equity. We're going to be analyzing the built-to-rent takeover that is quietly swallowing the supply you think is coming to save you. And most importantly, we're going to show you the math on why waiting for lower rates in this specific political climate is the most expensive decision you can make. Timing beats headlines, local strategy wins. Let's look into the math so you can make everything significantly easier. The Trump Lennar supply trap. Let's start with the news that broke the internet. That the proposal to sell federal land to developers to build ultra-affordable housing. On the surface, it sounds like an answer to all our prayers. Amazing. More dirt, more homes, lower prices. Yay! But look at who is pitching this. Lennar, Taylor Morrison, these are publicly traded giants. They have a fiduciary duty to shareholders, not your family. And the last 2 years, these builders have pivoted aggressively to built-to-rent or BTR models. Why sell a house to you for one-time profit when they can retain the assets and sell it in a 500-unit bulk package to a real estate investment trust? If you're standing in the middle of a new development off I-151, you see these homes. You see, in the old days, these homes would have been on MLS. You could tour them, you could buy them, you could submit an offer. Today, entire phases are being designed for lease before the foundations had even poured. If the federal government releases lands for the Trump towns and builders like Lennar and execute volume strategies, the data suggests a massive portion of the supply will bypass the purchase market entirely. This is you. This is shadow inventory. It exists physically, but doesn't exist for you to buy or live in. So when you hear millions of new homes, understand the housing math. So supply for renters might go up, supplies for buyers, which is you, may be strangled. This is why San Antonio home prices aren't crashing despite high interest rate. The inventory release valve has been welded shut by institutional demand, and if you think the government is going to stop it, think again. The tax codes are written for them. They buy for with pre-tax dollars. You buy with post-tax dollars. This game is rigged. You cannot beat them on volume. You have to beat them on strategy. The mortgage rate strategy. Why 6% is a gift. Now let's address the leftover toggle that's on the next room. Mortgage rates. Rosa and I hear it all the time. I'm gonna wait for 5% interest rate. I'm waiting for the Fed to cut the interest rate. Let me explain the math that the news isn't showing you. In a supply-constrained market, which we're just established that we're in, lower rates are going to be gasoline on fire. Right now, with the rates in the sixes, the spread for institutional investors is thin. Washington hates negative. Wall Street hates negative leverage. At 6.7%, the hedge funds are hesitant. They pause. Is your window. What happens when rates drop to 5.5%? Demand spikes. Every single buyer in San Antonio who has been sitting on the sidelines for the last 2 years rushes to the gates. Investors yield. Suddenly the math works for the funds again. They can borrow cheap and rent high. If you wait for 5%, you're just competing against other families. You're entering the ring with Wall Street. Rent to lease homes, and they don't have a contingency. Scenario A, today, you buy a home in New Braunfels for $400,000 at 6.5% interest rate. You negotiate $10,000 in closing costs because the builder's nervous. You own the assets. Scenario B, next year, rent rates down to 5.5. The same homes for $425. Bidding war rushes for $450. You lose closing cost credit. You save $200 a month in interest, but you pay $50,000 more for the house, and that's just increase your property tax basis forever. You can refinance the rate. You could not refinance the purchase price. The math says buy when the competition is low, not when the rates are low. So, how do you win? How do you buy a home in San Antonio without being crushed by Lennar Taylor-backed rental empire? You have to find a safe zone. Institutional investors rely on scale and low friction. They hate aggressive HOAs. They hate rental caps. There are neighborhoods in Stone Oak and the far west side of San Antonio that have strict covenants. No corporate ownership or owner occupied required for the first 12 months. That's a blessing. This is your firewall. When you buy here, you're isolating your property value from built to rent volatility. You need to verify these restrictions before you make an offer. Second, exploit vision gaps. In the Trump town, models rely on cookie cutter efficiency, brand new, very identical, easy to manage. Investors do not want to renovate. They want turnkey, move-in ready. Your opportunities in 1990s homes in Encino Park or built in 2005 homes in Helotes that need paint and flooring. The pain undervalues these homes. You can build sweat equity here that Wall Street does not touch. And finally, look for your local builders. While national giants are pitching federal land deeds, local San Antonio builders are sitting on inventory. They need to move now. They aren't waiting for the government. They're buying down the rates to 4.99% or 5.5%, permitting you to get in the door. This will allow you to get your future rate today without paying the future price. The headlines about Trump's housing plan and builders' pivots are noise. They are designed to keep you clicking, not to help you build wealth. The reality of San Antonio real estate market is very, very, very simple. If inventory is being pivoted, the built to rent revolution is real. Waiting is expensive. Lower rates brings Wall Street competition. Local knowledge is your leverage. You need to know which zip codes are safe. You have a choice. You can wait for the government to fix housing, which usually means helping their corporate donors, or you can look at the housing math, secure your assets in protected neighborhoods, and lock in your cost basis before the next wave of inflation hits. Don't feed the landlord, and you know it's true. Don't end up renting a Trump town from a hedge fund because you're too scared, or you were too scared to buy when you had the chance. The media sells fear. I sell real estate. Rosa and I sell real estate. If you want to navigate this build-to-rent minefield, you need a team that understands the local landscape, not just Zillow estimates. If you want to list a list of San Antonio neighborhoods with rental restrictions, or a list of builders offering you a 5% interest rate right now, stop guessing. Go to this website right now, book a strategy call. Let's run the real math for your situation and get you into your new home. Like, share, subscribe.